Hello and welcome to Life on Purpose. What is purpose except the original intent of a creation or the reason why something was created? Most of us are walking around life not knowing why it is we're created. So that's what we're going to do in this blog and tap into and find out what it is we're supposed to be doing here on earth. Last week, if you tuned in, we talked about chain game. What are you connected to? What are you tied to that's keeping you back and holding you back from your purpose? Is it friends? Is it family members? What is it? This week, we're going to continue in that series with Chain Game 2, The Direction of Pain. What pains of your past has brought you to this point of where you are right now? And to do that, I brought to you my very own spiritual father, Dr. Jonathan Shaw, and he's going to help us with Chain Game 2, The Direction of Pain.
Hello, and thank you, Dayo, for allowing me to be your special guest today with Life on Purpose. And I want to ask you a question. Are you living life on purpose? Are you doing things intentionally? But let's begin to research. Let's begin to ask some questions. Have you ever sat and asked yourself why you do the things you do? Have you ever asked yourself, why are you the way you are? It's easy to blame others. It's easy to point the finger at someone, mother, father, sister, brothers, the way you were raised. That's easy to do. But have you ever asked, why are you thinking the way you're thinking? Why do you deal with what you deal with that seems exclusively different from everyone else that's in life? Have you ever taken a close introspection at yourself? That will then describe and define of your purpose. It will define why you are the way you are. It would also define who you are when you discover why you are the way you are. Well, there are several things that has contributed to the person we called you. All of your experiences, all of the things that you've experienced in life is a contribution to who you are today. You are a sum total to how you were raised, what you were taught. And some of those lessons were taught to you subliminally. Some of them were taught to you unintentionally, but yet they have contributed to who you are, where you were raised, who raised you, what did they teach you while they were raising you. All of those details will contribute to who you are and contribute to eventually your purpose. Guess what? What if the lessons that you were taught are contradictory to what you were to become? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about the struggle of you becoming excellent? The struggle of you becoming significantly on top of your game. Have you ever thought about those things are difficult because you are the way you are? And you are the way you are because of how you were raised, how you were taught. Now, don't get me wrong here. There's nothing wrong with being raised in a household, family, and friends. And there's nothing wrong with your mother, nothing wrong with your father, nothing wrong with Big Mama who raised you. But what if Big Mama taught you some things that were incorrect, that were wrong? You didn't know it was wrong. Certainly she didn't know it was wrong because she taught you all that she knew. She taught you what was taught to her. So there is upon many of us generational curses that continue through our generations, that are perpetuated by our sons and our daughters because we have not broken the vicious cycle. And because it hasn't been broken, we have been living life without purpose. It's time for you to break the vicious cycle. It's time for you to break that generational curse that has followed your generations for years. It has followed your bloodline. Break it today. You can do it. I want you to think about some things. In the Bible, Numbers chapter 11, it talks about how the children of Israel was wandering through a wilderness. And they got to a point where they was eating fresh manna. God gave them fresh manna from the sky every day, fresh. And as they was eating it, they were getting tired of it. They was eating it every day, all the time. And as they was eating it, they was like, you know what, we're tired of this. Moses, give us something else. We don't want this anymore. All we have is manna. They begin to reminisce and look and says, well, we was in Egypt. We had fish, onions, leeks, cucumbers. We had all of the good stuff, garlic. We have all that stuff. Now all we have here is manna. Here's the problem. These people were on their way to their purpose, on their way to their promised land, Canaan. But all they could do is reminisce about yesterday, where they came from. Because though they were out of their bondage, they still had the appetite and the desires of yesterday. They were used to the food in Egypt, but God was trying to get them into a place of destiny and purpose to get their taste buds ready for milk and honey, that place called Canaan. That's exactly where some of you are right now. You're in a place of wilderness. God is trying to retrain your taste buds, but you keep running after the appetite of yesterday. I want to challenge you. Break your plate. Break that cycle. Break the desire of yesterday's appetite. Break the desire of yesterday's that's still in your mouth. It's still on your tongue. But get a new desire today. How do you do that? You have to first acknowledge, how are you? Where are you? And who are you? Let's begin to look at that. There's a key word here called perception. The word perception means how you see it, how you view it. Now, the thing about perception is never wrong. Because sitting here today, if I look at my vest is perceived to be blue because I see it as blue. If you look at this vest and say this vest is white, you're not wrong because that's the way you perceive it. Even though in reality to so many others and possibly to a majority, it is different than how you perceive it. Your perception is based upon the things that have contributed to your life. Family, friends, associates, neighborhoods, community. All of that has contributed to what you now call your perception, the way you view it. But I want to challenge you to expand your perception, expand your peripheral, because there's something that you're viewing that's wrong, but you don't know it's wrong because it's the way you see it. Some of you out there, you're always playing the role of a victim. I'm a victim. They're always against me. They're always dogging me. They're holding me back. They're holding me down. But guess what? That's your perception. Someone else will look at it as a stepping stone instead of a stumbling block, saying, I'm moving to my purpose and destiny. How do you view it? How do you view relationships? Because everything that was taught to you is a contribution to how you view even relationships. Did you grow up in a single parent household? Did you grow up with both parents there? Was daddy there but not there? Was mommy there but absent from being there? All of that subliminally suggested to you how you should treat relationships. Some of you define sex to be love. And so you give your body to individuals that you don't even really love at all. But you were taught that somehow this physical encounter means that they love me. But you've been wrong. Change your perception. But Pastor and Dr. Shaw, I can't change my past. I was raised how I was raised. I was taught how I was taught. They showed me the way they showed me. And now this is who I am. But you can be transformed by the renewing of your mind. There's hope for you. I don't care how old you are. If you're in your 50s, 40s, 60s, 30s, doesn't matter. You can change right here, right now. You have to begin to take an introspection on yourself, on your soul, on your thinking, on your ideologies, and start living on purpose. It's no one else's fault but yours. Now that you know it, now you know what you have to do. Examine yourself, look at it closely, and say, I'm ready to change who I am. I've got a secret for you. If you change, everything around you must change. If you're different, everything around you must become different because you're different. Stop trying to change other people. Stop trying to change your employment. Stop trying to change your studies in school. Stop trying to change your address and start changing you. When you do, you'll start living on purpose. When you start living on purpose, you will get rid of the generational curses, the vicious cycles that you've been in for far too long, and that's strangling you and crippling you from walking in what you were created for. What were you created for? There's nothing more frustrating and aggravating to have a dream that never becomes a reality. There's nothing more aggravating to having to see something when you go to sleep, but when you wake up, the reality is so much different. It's time for you to make your dream a reality. How do you do that? Change your perception. break the plate. Break the cycles of yesterday. Some of you may ask, the young ladies, well, I want to date a such and such kind of guy, but it seems like I'm always attracting the wrong man. Well, I'm here to tell you, change your appetite. When you change your appetite, who's attracted to you and who you're attracted to will eventually change. Brothers, I'm here to let you know that woman doesn't want to be your mother, but you have mother issues. You don't want to admit it, but it's the truth. When you change your appetite, you will change who comes in your life. I remember a story, and I will close with this, of a little girl who went in the kitchen helping her mother cook. And as they was cooking in the kitchen, they was cooking a big ham shoulder. And the mother took the back of the ham, the butt of the ham, and she cut it off, put it in the pot, and began to boil, and told her daughter, this is how you cook a ham. The daughter asked the mother a question, well, Mom, how or why do we cut the back of the ham off? Mother said, I don't know, because that's the way my mother always taught me. The little girl ran into the living room and asked the grandmother, Grandma, why does Mommy always cut the back of the ham off? She said, sweetheart, I don't know, because that's the way my mother always told me. Great-grandma was sitting over there in the den looking outside the window. She went and asked, Great-grandma, why do we cut the back off the ham? Great-grandma finally told the story. She says, well, when I was growing up and we cooked ham, we never had a pot big enough to fit the whole ham. So we had to cut the back of it off so the ham could fit in the pot. Now her mother is cooking ham and got pots big enough, but still cutting the back off because she's used to the generational curse. She's used to how it was taught to her, and now she's teaching it to her daughter. But somebody has to break the curse. What are you cutting off that you now have room to fit? But you're cutting it off because that's how you were taught. Ask some questions today. Examine yourself today. Look at you and not just at everyone else. And begin to define, what is it that I'm missing out on? What purpose, what destiny, what's for me that I'm missing out on only because I am the way I am, because I think the way I think. You could have a better job. You could have a brighter future. You could be the cream of the crop and the best of the best, and everyone will seek after you when you begin to ask those hard questions. Why am I the way I am? Is it your culture? Is it dad? Is it mom? Was it cousin? Who was it? Boyfriend or girlfriend? Whatever it was, break the vicious cycle. Break the curse. And when you do, you will see that purpose is a reality. And it's who you are, and it's who you were created to be. Anything else would be abuse, and that's uncivilized. God bless you. I hope that you are living life on purpose.